And then she started like telling me her agenda for the day when I didn't even ask. And I was like, no. Like, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you at the end of the day. We'll have something to talk about at the end of the day. But if you tell me everything you're going to do, or everything you're currently doing, then we got nothing to talk about when we come home.
Yeah.
So,
You do dinner times?
huh?
You do dinner times with your wife? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Purpose Over Pleasure. And I'm your host, Alex Payne. Today, we have the pleasure of talking to one of my good friends, Eddie. Welcome, brother. Thank you for finding the time to be here.
Thanks for having me, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Eddie is a great friend of mine. Very kind, generous, intelligent, dangerous guy, and somebody who I highly respect. And I think you're a good person to talk about the topics we're going to talk about in a second. So yeah, great to have you, man. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, how about we start off with letting our public know a little about yourself, your background, because I know you for the most part. I love you like a brother, but they don't. So
That's a lot. What do you want to know?
let's focus on what made you the person that you are, because I think background has a lot to do with how we turn out to be,
Yeah.
the way we are today. So
Yeah.
we talk about that outside of work.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
definitely matters.
Yeah.
Want to give a little insight on that?
Who made me how I kind of am? Well, I think I grew up. We weren't very. We grew up pretty poor. I grew up in San Francisco. I lived in my grandma's basement until I was 5 years old. I grew up kind of just seeing my parents work hard. Um, you know, they were always out of the house. My mom's worked every day since I've been alive, not a day off. Like, that's just her thing. My dad's same, hardworking man, and I just kind of saw them growing up. That's the kind of, I think, not intentionally at the time was I thinking, that was influencing me, but I can say now that that really did. Hearing stories, my mom used to tell me bedtime stories, and I would always love hear her tell me stories about her country, where she came from. So my parents, they grew up in Vietnam. Uh, they were born and they grew up during the wartime, the Vietnam War.
Vietnam War.
So telling me stories about that, just how that was growing up during wartime. Having, my parents would tell me like they'd bomb the cities, and they'd have to go live in the village, live with their teachers. It's just a wild lifestyle to think of because I was born here in the States. You know, that's not even something that I was concerned about. That's not something I knew about. So just hearing those things really put things into perspective. My parents, each of them have about 7 siblings. And the reason being is, my mom even said she started working when she was like 5. Working in
5.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, working in a candy store, wrapping candy, helping make money for the family. That's what they did. They got home from school, tended to the farm animals. That's just a very humbling experience to hear about. So I think that's kind of what gave me perspective, just to appreciate everything. There's a lot to appreciate in this world.
Definitely.
We just have to kind of open our minds a little bit and just think about some people might have it harder than us, and that's all throughout the world. So we're sitting here today, nice air conditioned room, great setup.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy. You know what's interesting? I always considered Vietnamese people, like in your culture, hard work is essential. Like it's taught since a very young age. And looking at the history, I love war history. If anything, if being a historian would have made me as much money as I make now, would have been probably. There's a high possibility I could have been a history teacher.
Yeah.
I love history, especially war history and the war generals. If you ask me, I think we lost that war
Hmm.
because Vietnamese people were just relentless. I mean, they were fighters, guerrilla warfare, and I mean, they took the page out of Sun Tzu, Art of War.
Yeah.
The guerrilla warfare that they brought on American people, American soldiers, was insane. We have never fought a war like that. American soldiers were dying. Plus the jungle themselves, it's like like in Russia, winter helped a lot during World War II and all the previous wars with France but in Vietnam, the jungle, dude, is by itself surviving there. It built some strong people.
Yeah.
So I think relating that, looking at the history, and then just seeing a lot of Vietnamese business owners and other Vietnamese people that I have, friends that I have, dude, hard work and resilience is like instilled in your culture, I think, from what
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. Dude, you know more about that war than me, to be honest with you. I've never looked into it. It was just more hearing from the accounts from my parents. And actually, so we're half Vietnamese, half Chinese, both of our sides.
How did that happen?
No, my mom, she's half Vietnamese, half Chinese. Same with my dad, half Chinese, half Vietnamese. But they were born in Vietnam. They were born in a city called Hanoi.
Yeah.
Um, so actually, it's funny to talk about that, but so in '79, um, my grandparents had to get out of the country. So essentially, what my parents were telling me in '79, there were some issues with China and Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And so, although my parents were born there, grew up there, um, essentially they told me the Vietnamese government kind of said, if you're half Chinese, a little bit Chinese, it wouldn't be a good time.
Like that.
So, yeah,
Wow.
that's what they said to me. So, my grandparents sold everything. They hired a boat, like a boat captain,
Mm-hmm.
and took them all the way to Hong Kong to meet up with the UN. And that's how my grandparents actually got over to San Francisco. Yeah.
How grateful are you to the fact that your great grandparents had to go
My
through
grandparents,
that
yeah.
for and essentially for your parents to end up here, for you to be born here, right? You were born here?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. How great is that? Like for them it must have been, dude, imagine leaving at that age, leaving everything and starting over. And
Absolutely.
then for us, because we have, similar backgrounds, for us to enjoy the fruits of this country, like that's a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't easy for them. So my parents made it over, or sorry, my grandparents made it over with, my dad's siblings, but my dad stayed behind. At the time, he was dating my mom. They weren't married yet, but he knew that was his love. So, um, my grandfather, my mom's dad, he was disabled, so he couldn't walk. He was kind of disabled from the hip down. So my mom, she had all sisters, only one brother,
Yeah.
and then you know they needed someone to help carry my grandfather. So my dad stayed behind, decided to go with my mom's parents, try to get them over to the States as well. So they also hired a boat captain, but it happened to be a riverboat what they got. So they had to cross the ocean, and what they said to me was, um, they basically got washed up in the sea because a storm came in. They got washed into mainland China, and they were kind of stuck. So actually, my mom's side never did make it over here. My parents, they got stuck in mainland China for quite a few years. Worked as farmers, had my brother, and then years later, when my grandfather got his citizenship, he was able to sponsor them to get over here.
Mm,
So it's a crazy story,
yeah.
um, but it's wild. I see my
Yeah.
parents, and I'm just so uh, astonished. What they've done for themselves. Hardworking, came here, no excuses. Since I've known them my whole life, I've never heard any gripes or complaints. They were just working working hard for what they wanted to get. Um, I'm thankful for them. They provided to us, me and my brother. Um, yeah, it's wild times.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
One of my biggest fears is, and I don't have many fears, but one of my biggest fears is having to start over in life later in life, and not start over in the sense of like the business, like the failed business, or even like marriage and stuff like that, but having to leave everything behind and go to a whole new country and start over. Like your parents essentially and their grandparents had to do that. My parents had to do that. My mama had to do that. So to me, it's like, imagine you build your entire life here, and next thing I have to like pack it up and bounce somewhere else and start over again.
Absolutely.
That shit is like, it's scary. And this is why when I see what's happening in this country, is like, it boggles my mind. Like, to think that it's not gonna happen is very silly. Because again, if you look back at the history, all the greatest empires have fallen at some point. Even China.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, China's been destroyed more than once, rebuilt itself. Like my country, like where I come from, Russia, World War II destroyed the country, and all people had left is just pretty much their word.
Yeah.
Because after the war, the whole country was in shackles. It was ruined. But those are hard times, man.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite books, Hard Times Create Strong Men. Strong
Yeah.
Men create good times.
Yeah.
Good times create weak men.
I've heard you say that many times.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, man. But
Yeah.
not to think about it, to me, is not respecting, first of all, our parents and grandparents. Like, look at your example.
Yeah.
You have to give them the credit. They created the good times.
Absolutely.
Strong people, strong men created good times. And me and you are sitting here, like you said, in a cool air conditioned room, talking about stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
we have no fucking idea what they had to go through at the end of the day.
No. I mean, they grew up during hard times. I grew up during an easy time,
Yeah. We think.
compared to that.
Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, so like my grandma, she passed away a little over a year ago, right?
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. But she had a friend, came all the way from Canada to come see her. She jumped through hoops to come see my grandma. She took like a 2-hour train ride, got to the airport,
How old
took
is
a
she?
couple-hour taxi just to get to my grandma, right?
How old is she? Yeah. How old is the friend?
The friend, I'm not quite sure how old she was, in her late 80s.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that makes a big difference
Yeah.
for everybody to know, because it's not easy to travel at that age for
Absolutely.
that long.
Yeah. And my grandma, she was 92. But what her friend told me was how thankful she was of my grandma. My grandma's always been the kindest soul that I've ever met. Money wasn't ever a thing in her life. She was so generous with what little she did have to help whoever it was. And so to hear it from someone, a friendship that's been built so many years, made her way to come see my grandma before she passed. And she said that she told us a story. So the boat that they hired, right, to get over to Hong Kong and get to the UN, get to the US.
So they go way, way back like that.
Yeah. So my grandma actually convinced the boat captain to get them on because her friend didn't have enough money for her whole family. And they were telling me the boat, you're packed, just, tight as can be. Everyone, just hundreds of people standing in the boat, just super intimate, right? All up in each other's stuff. But my grandma, so they didn't have enough money. She couldn't get her whole family on the boat. And somehow, some way, my grandma was able to schmooze the boat captain and got them on. And so she will never forget that, right? And she thanked my grandma for, now her family, now her grandchildren, and their legacy that they've created over there in Canada. It's crazy. We're all here. We all help each other, right? Um, so yeah, I don't even know how I got to this.
Talking about the story about your grandma.
Yeah,
That is a very kind lady, man.
yeah.
Do you think you get those characteristics from her?
I try, but I don't know if I can ever be like her. Um, I mean, I think we all fall to susceptibility to sometimes be not as kind. Um, but uh, I try to, be more mindful. I try to keep myself in check. Can't say I'm perfect. I think anyone ever says they are is, I don't know.
I think you definitely are one of the more kind people that I know in my life.
Hmm.
And now that I've known you for a handful of years, you've always been that way. And in what we do and the people we surround ourselves with, you know, we quick and just guys, a lot of alpha males we
Yeah,
tend to talk a lot of shit.
yeah,
You're one of those guys who I don't remember a single time when you talk like shit to the point where I felt not even like a little bit offended by you. And actually the opposite, you always encourage me.
yeah,
Whether it's, at work, whether it's in jujitsu, whether it's, in any kind of business ventures or when I was learning about crypto from you and doing
yeah,
all the investments,
yeah,
fitness. I remember there's a lot of stuff that I came to you with and you always gave me support. You never laughed. So that yeah, you're definitely more on a less shit talking
yeah,
and a more kinder side. I appreciate that
yeah.
about you.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't ever knock on someone for their goals, aspirations, and dreams. Um, I mean, that's something to, commend. It's not easy for someone to even start like what you got going on here, right? It takes decision making, right? The idea and the execution of it, right?
Yeah,
Um, and the investment, right? Um, I can't knock anyone on what they want to do. So I always encourage them, do it. If you want to do it, do it. You got one life to live,
yeah.
right? You got one life to live. You got something in your mind that you wanted to go do it. Why not? Right?
Why do you think people are scared to do it?
It could be many reasons. Um,
Name top three reasons why people don't take action towards their. I have my top three reasons what I believe people are scared to do it. I have my top three reasons why I, for the longest time, was hesitant to start with a business or a podcast. But what do you think? The top three reasons that people are not taking action towards their dreams and goals, or maybe
yeah.
what yours are.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I could come up with a top three. And again, like, we don't know everyone in the world, you know? There's so many people in the world. There could be so many reasons why. But, you know, could be, getting out of that comfort zone, right?
Definitely.
Um, getting out of that comfort zone, kind of getting out of the daily routine and trying something new, taking that different path. Like it's scary. I mean, for sure, right? You could be used to something, doing something for so long, and you got this idea. Say you've built this career for yourself. Something that you identify yourself. We identify ourselves so much as what our work is. Um, I don't think that should define us. Our work. I think what should define us is everything else, including your work. But
Not
um,
solely.
yeah,
Not
everything,
entirely.
everything. The life is, the world's so big. Um, there's more to it than work. But I think that uncomfortability could be financial, right?
Yeah.
Um, Going to say they, acquired all these, assets or whatever, right? Acquiring a home, acquiring a car, which isn't really an asset.
It's more liability.
Yeah, right. Acquiring all these things, all this debt, right?
Yeah.
how are we going to pay off that debt?
Gotta work.
You know, a lot of times they've already made that calculation. Well, I'm going to pay off this debt by, you know, working in my current job for X amount of years. That can definitely get someone stuck, you know? So there could be many reasons. And those are probably some of them.
Comfort is definitely one of them. Like if I can say the top three reasons, in my opinion, is comfort is definitely one of them.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be in that order, but comfort is a big one. But for me is I don't mind coming out of my comfort zone. Number two is lack of self-confidence. I didn't necessarily struggle with that, but is always for me it was more of a I don't think I'm good enough. And I know I'm not fucking perfect. I know I have years and years of mastering these skills. You know, I tell people this is my project, is my adventure, and everybody who's watching, me, they just, along on that ride of me, exploring this, you know. So that's number two for sure is not being confident in yourself. And number three is caring about what people say. Mm-hmm. People care too much about what other people say about them.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Including your friends and family. I think those are even worse. If you don't have the right people around you, it's nearly impossible to dare to try things you want to try.
Yeah.
People always shit on you. Sometimes they don't even mean bad. Like our family, and I know that our families mean well, but their dreams for our lives are probably different from what our dreams for our lives are.
Yeah.
So to be able to get out of that, and let their dreams for your life die in order for your dream for your life to live, takes a lot of balls.
Absolutely.
I think.
Absolutely. I mean, outside influence does, as much as I try not to let outside influence bother me. People are always going to say something, right? Mm-hmm. Good or bad. But you can't, take that for what it is, but never let it disrupt your peace. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. It's tough, right? There's a lot of things that people go through and whatever it is, but yeah, outside influence can make a difference.
Yeah,
I think if people try not to let that get to them, it'd help out, right?
We would definitely see a lot more people happier, I think.
Yeah. Expectations too, right?
Yeah.
I think we all have these expectations for ourselves, or other people have some expectations for us. That could play a factor too.
True, I agree with that. Now I know you were a Marine, you were part of the military.
Yeah.
Now I always respect and admire guys and gals who served. I come from a family where my family members served. I always say if I were to start over, I would definitely spend my late teens and early 20s in the military because I learned the art of discipline and consistency later on. I would say I think maybe if I would have joined the military early on, I would have been a student of that earlier. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, much respect to you. Thank you for your service. And do you want to talk about that? How to go into the military?
Yeah, sure.
Helped you? If it did, I'm sure it did because we talked about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Well, yeah, what branch did you serve in, and how long, and how did it influence your life? Why did you make that decision to go into the military? First of all,
why did I?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it was 9/11. I was 10 years old. I remember I was at home. No one went to school that day. Just watching the news all day. Yeah. Just seeing that. I've always, since I was a kid, I don't know what it was about me, but I always felt the need to kind of serve. I always wanted to help people. I always wanted to protect people. It's always been me. I don't know where I got it from. but that's just always been me. So I think that kind of influenced me. And then going through childhood, that kind of things kind of shift, right?
Man,
Things, for friggin' girlfriends, whatever it is,
there's always
school,
girlfriends.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
your mind kind of shifts, right? Um, but it led back to me, my senior year. What was I gonna do, right? Um, I also had a dare officer. Have you had dare officers before?
No, I mean I know what it
Um,
is, but I
uh,
never had a dare officer.
so I had a dare officer in elementary school, and his name was Officer Esponda, right? Won't ever forget his name. But he was also he's like a school resource officer kind of boy, right? Um, but I'll never forget how kind he was. Super kind, welcoming, warm person. Always had a smile on his face, and you can't help but admire that person, right? Um, so that kind of influenced me too. He was also a Marine,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like that path was kind of like instilled in me in a
Crafted for
way,
you.
right? So yeah, when I was 17, I joined what they call the DEP program.
Dad?
DEP, like DEP.
Mm-hmm. What does it
Yeah,
stand for?
I don't remember. I don't remember. That was so long ago.
Yeah.
Basically, it gets you kind of in the foot. You spoke to a recruiter. You kind of gave that commitment, right?
Yeah.
Before you could give that commitment,
Yeah.
you kind of gave that commitment that, hey, this is what I want to do, and you come in on weekends.
And you were 18. That 16?
17 at first.
17. Senior
Right.
year.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
That's still
come in on weekends. Recruiters kind of take you under their wing, do some physical training, PTing, um, and trying to get you ready for boot camp,
for boot camp.
right? So yeah, when I was 18, went to boot camp, went through that. Yeah,
Joined the Marines.
the world kind of changed. Um,
For better or for worse?
oh, it was good. It was good. Good times and bad times, right? In the moment, uh, you know, probably thought of it differently, but now definitely appreciate it, right?
Yeah.
Um, so, I mean, it taught me a lot. It taught me, it definitely opened my mind up to many things. I mean, growing up as a kid, right? All you really know is, school, your home life, and whatever it is in
Friends.
your town and whatever you watch on TV, right? Um, Joining the Marine Corps, got me traveling around, meeting many new people, and just trying to kind of understanding you know what's going on in the background. We're sitting here comfortable right now, but there's other people in the background, keeping us safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, so it just taught me, for me, it taught me how to, be respectful, uh, be independent, um, you know, it's hard to talk about this.
Why?
Hard. Why? I don't know. It's hard to talk about that experience. There's just, you learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
It created, who I am today. I didn't do anything crazy. I worked on airplanes. I worked on what they called the CH-53 Super Stallions, big cargo helicopters, and I worked avionics. I was an electrician there for them. So I didn't do anything crazy. But everything that I did do, like the structure, kind of that, you know, what we're doing. What are we working towards? It was very inspiring, because we're working towards something. We're training towards something, all for the better of our country, for our national defense, right? So it just opened my minds up to more things than just playing at the basketball court when I was a kid, right?
Play basketball?
Yeah, I played a lot when I was in high school.
I never knew you played basketball.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm probably not very good anymore.
Definitely better than me, I tell you that much. I never really utilized my height
Yeah,
playing basketball. Yeah, I probably should have. But I mean, in my culture, basketball is not really popular.
yeah,
Like soccer is.
yeah,
But playing basketball in Russia. I mean, now it is. Back then, it wasn't a big sport.
yeah,
Definitely, if I would have been growing up here, I would have probably tried out for basketball. But no regrets.
yeah,
Yeah. No, you definitely have the discipline. I can tell. I've noticed that about you a while ago. Just your discipline when it comes to jujitsu always inspired me. Like you're one of those guys. You always be there. You be there like 2, 3 times a day. Sometimes, I remember one time you went like multiple times a day. What's the most you've gone on one day?
twice a day.
Twice?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the morning and the night classes. Yeah,
you'll be there. Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I think one day you even went 3 times because I remember I went at night and you're like, man, I came in the morning, I came in the afternoon, and I'm here now.
I don't even remember.
I do.
Yeah, I
I'm
get
you're
geeky
crazy.
with it.
Yeah,
I try as much as I can, but sometimes life gets in the way.
yeah,
Haven't been going as much as I wanted to, but this week I hit it twice,
nice.
so it was good. It feels good. It's always good.
Yeah,
It's always good vibes in there.
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're definitely more of, in my opinion, you're definitely more of the technical guy. I
yeah,
always enjoyed rolling with you because I first of all I didn't have to worry about you snacking my neck,
yeah,
snapping my neck by accident. I know you can, but I knew you're not gonna be the type of person who, like, especially on the days when we trade guillotine or something, like you know how it is. Some guys just want to take your head off, and it's not enjoyable.
yeah,
But you definitely were more. You were more the technical guys, and I always enjoy that about you.
yeah.
I don't know. I always enjoy rolling with technical guys because I don't care if I lose every single time, but I learn something.
We all lose.
Yeah. Oh, that's
We
part
all
of.
lose.
Yeah.
Right? There's always someone out there bigger, stronger, more technical, and better.
Yeah.
But as long as you're having fun, you're putting in the time, you'll get there. You'll
Yeah.
get there. We're all human at the end of the day. We can all catch each other at some point, right?
Plus, you have some days you're good, sometimes you're not so good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Part of life. Like today, I was telling you about my day today.
yeah,
Monday. My Monday started pretty rough today.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is that?
Dude, it's just, well, I worked a lot this weekend and then I didn't really get that much sleep. So I woke up. I had to either pick between sleep or waking up early to get my day started.
Yeah,
But I'm like, if I don't get at least decent, okay amount of rest, everything's going to go to shit. Because for me, sleep is important.
yeah,
And woke up later than usual. And then I was behind on my macros. I was, started running my errands later. And then I was just grumpy, blah, blah, blah. And I come home and my girlfriend noticed it. She's like, you need to go. Like, you need to leave, go to the gym and just
yeah,
leave.
yeah,
She knows, that, I don't know what it is, man. Like, I can go to the gym. And the same thing was with jiu-jitsu. Like, just get that shit out of my system. I don't care if I lose and get my ass whooped. As long as I give it genuine effort and, break a sweat, I'm a happy camper, man.
yeah,
That's what people don't understand. It's like natural high.
yeah,
So I went to the gym and I did not want to go to the gym today. Like, fuck. I was tired, grumpy, hangry. I went to the gym. Weights were heavier than usual today. I was like, all right, let me drop the weights a little bit or just not increase them, but focus on the form. Next thing you know, I finished my workout. And usually I get like 1 or 2 PRs. I hit 7 today.
oh, that's awesome.
7. I was
Yeah.
shocked. And that definitely gave me a confidence booster besides the workout itself. Come home, clean house. My girlfriend's, making dinner. I'm seeing you, we're having a good time. That changed my whole perspective. Like, if I don't work out, if I don't get some kind of beating or beat my body down, I'm fucking angry, dude.
Yeah,
I gotta get out of my system.
yeah. I heard, who Jason Khalipa is?
No.
He's a CrossFit athlete.
Mm-hmm.
He competed at games many times.
CrossFit games?
Yeah,
Those are fun.
yeah. He's like a OG in the game. He's been around for a long time.
Jason what?
Jason Khalipa.
I'll look him up.
Big jack dude.
Show me a CrossFitter who's not.
But he talks about, just sweating every day, right? Just sweat every day, and it'll feel good. I mean, I've had those days. I have those days often.
Yeah.
Um, but I have those days going to jujitsu. I'm like, wake up. I'm like, I don't want to go.
Mm-mm.
I just feel I'm, just feeling weird, right?
Yeah.
It's not like I want to sleep more, right? It's not like I don't want to go because I want to sleep more. It's just like I don't want to go, like my whatever it is. Um, but that goes down to just if you're aware of it, snap yourself out of it, right? Get your butt up and get in there, right? And every time that I get in there, I'm thankful because I feel good afterwards.
Yeah.
I feel amazing, right? Just the energy of the people. Just surrounding yourself with fighters in general. That's just a good time. And I think some people think it might be just super alpha and everyone's just out there trying to beat each other up and super aggressive towards each other, but that really isn't the case. Um, Everyone respects each other. Yeah, that's what I love, right? Going somewhere, meeting someone for the first time, um, you know, grappling with them and having that level of respect towards each other, you know, um, that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Um, Getting your ass beat. I fucking smile when I get my ass beat, dude. It's great.
You start when you beat my ass too.
You know why? Because I'm gonna learn from that,
Yeah.
right? You either take your losses and just mope on it, or you take your losses as a learning experience,
Mm-hmm.
something, and that's how I try to do it. Every time I have a loss, that's a I'm thankful for it because now I'm gonna work harder.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna do something different. So, yeah,
It's the concept of failure. You fail. It's okay to fail,
yeah,
but it's not okay to stay there. Like stay there for a little bit, understand why you failed. I think I heard Tim Grover talk about that. You know Tim Grover?
I don't know. I don't.
He talked about the concept. You're gonna fail. We all fail. But if you really think about it, when you fall, stay there for a little bit. Like not months and years, but stay there for a little bit, day or two, whatever moment, to understand why. To understand why you fell. What did you do? So that the next time, like what you just said, you work on that.
Absolutely.
And I think that's crucial. Not being afraid to fail, you know. It's like this thing right here, dude, this hobby of mine. Man, that shit was scary to start.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm nowhere close to being a good public speaker. But at some point I was just like, fuck it. I don't care what people say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I know it's gonna take me years to master the art of public speaking and interviewing. Because believe me, man, the more I learn about this, there's a lot to learn. I had no idea. Like I started this thing and I realized, well, how do I become a better interviewer? Oh, that leads to how do you become a better speaker? Oh, that leads to, you know, how do you master the skills? What do you do? What are the techniques? What are the time lapses, the vocabulary, the articulation? And I was like, damn, there's a lot. There's a lot I don't know. So just taking a small step, it's like jujitsu. You go the first time, I had no clue what the hell I was doing. I just make sure that somebody don't strangle me to death.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, cool. Now I learn how to avoid that. And then little by little, you learn, okay, not only can I avoid that, I know something I can do to maybe choke the other person out.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Like, how great do you feel where you get choked out a couple of times and then like you choke somebody out because you utilize something you learn? It's like, oh shit, I can do that.
Yeah. For me, I'm just fascinated by what the body can do. Um, that's that when I learn a new technique or when I execute a technique during a live roll, it's just a good feeling. Not even necessarily choking someone out, but um, just knowing my body can move like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of discovering yourself in that type of way, that type of like self awareness, right? Self awareness of your body. To me, that's just so cool. Can't tell you why, but
No, it's important.
yeah,
You know how to utilize your body. I mean, it boggles my mind when I see guys our age or even younger who's absolutely out of shape and they're not doing shit about it.
yeah,
I mean, it's not like, can't say I've been fit and strong my entire life.
yeah,
I'm definitely a late student to the game of, you know, fitness and martial arts. But I'm glad I started at some point,
yeah,
and it takes time, just like anything else. It's
yeah,
like just like anything you want to do.
yeah. But I mean, can't knock on anybody. That's the life that they chose for whatever reason. And we don't know why. You know, could be because they just don't want to work out because they don't like it. Um, or it could be laziness
But how would you
or
know if you
whatever it
like it or
is.
not if you never tried? That's the thing.
Well, how do we know they didn't try it, right? I'm
Most,
sure. I'm sure most people have sweated at least once.
yeah,
Most
yeah,
people have worked out at least once, right? Um, they may not like it, but can we? I don't think we can really say anything bad about that. Um, that's just the life that they chose. Not everyone uh, will be the same or is the same. Uh, I think it's up for them to figure out how they want to live their life. Do they want to be? Do they want to work out? Do they care about their health? Do they want to be healthier? Are they going to take action on it? Um, and if that's not what they want, then, you know, I can't judge that. It is what it is. Um, but working out and fitness has been good for me. I grew up, I grew up doing martial arts my whole life since I was, 5. Teaching my own stuff, watching Bruce Lee movies and just mimicking what he does, to go into a school and
Bruce Lee.
learning, right?
Incredible.
It's always been my thing, but I also grew up fat. Not
You
doing.
grew up fat.
Yeah,
Little Eddie was fat.
yeah. You want to see some photos? I'll show
Yeah,
you some
I
photos.
do want to see
Not
some
on
photos.
camera though. But
I would never. For as long as I know you, dude, you're always fit, man. You're always jacked and fit.
yeah, I try. But I grew up, fat. I would say I was still in shape. I did martial arts every day, agile, mobile. But that goes on a diet, right?
100%.
You could work out every day, but if you're in surplus in calories, where's that gonna go? You're gonna get fat.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially wrong calories.
so like learning about nutrition, like I didn't learn about that. I'm still learning about that, really. My body's an experiment all the time, learning new things, hearing, perspectives and opinions from different people and just playing around with it. But yeah, I was fat, dude. But what did I do? Eat less calories.
Yeah.
Continue
right
to
calories.
work out.
Yeah.
That too.
Right. Proportion, protein,
yeah,
carbs, and fats.
yeah. There is like I used to count my macros all the time. My proteins, fats.
I learned that from you.
Carbs, yeah.
You were the first person to introduce me to that,
Yeah.
and then I got the idea about it, and
Yeah.
then when I started implementing that, I still count my macros, and it made all the difference for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of even different now. I stay the course for the most part. But I'm not that hard on myself as I used to be. Because, I'm probably not as optimal as I could be, right? Nutritionally wise.
Yeah.
But I think I'm at a healthier point because I don't have to worry about it too much anymore. If I don't get my proteins correct in the day or whatever it is, I'm fine with it. As long as normally, like on my regular basis, like I'm hitting it like every day in the general range.
You average out per week, so to say?
Averaging it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just try to stay within calorie range nowadays. Not so much about my macros. but more of staying within a certain amount of calories. And that's been good for me. Like I said, probably not optimal. I mean, I'm not a bodybuilder or anything like that. Probably not optimal, but it's good for me. So that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
What works for me, my lifestyle. Yeah.
No, definitely. So the knowing your calories, knowing your functional calories. I was just talking to my coach today earlier. I talk to him once a week or so. It's staying within the caloric range
Yeah.
is important.
Yeah.
I try to hit my weight plus some in protein, and then the rest, as long as I have enough fats that I need for my testosterone levels,
Yeah.
and then carbs, I let it go up and down, depending
Yeah.
if I'm trying to cut or if I'm trying to put on weight. Like for me, it's always been hard to put muscle mass on.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Well, when I was younger, in my early 20s, that was a lot easier.
Yeah.
Sleep, eat, workout. Sleep, eat, workout. Now that in my 30s, it's a little harder.
Yeah.
But I feel great. Like just eating clean overall, counting macros.
Yeah.
I feel great. I don't get sick. My body is not as inflamed. I can definitely do more stretching and mobility.
Yeah. Don't we all, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
But no, it's been great to me. It made all the difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think fitness is important.
It is.
It's important
It's
to know.
it's important for my life.
Same.
And also it's important for our careers, right?
Yeah.
What we do. You kind of have to. People rely on us.
Yeah.
And we have to perform for them, right? And that's how I've kind of always kind of looked at it, and that's why I keep up with it. One, because I love it, so it doesn't make it hard to do. But why I keep doing it and maintain it is because, there's this lifestyle that I chose to be in, and I need to be honest with it. If I'm not training, if I'm not, learning new skills that help out what we do, I'm doing a disservice for everyone else.
Yeah.
And I'm not at the potential I should be. We all
have room to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's always where they say like live a warrior lifestyle. I think we have to embody that, right?
Yeah.
And I like to, everyone talks to me, and I'm kind. I try to be kind, but don't fool it for weakness, right? Be nice to everyone, but always prepare for whatever might happen. That's what I would say. The military probably taught me that. You can live a life as a peaceful person, but you have to learn to react whenever that happens, right? So,
I would even take that further. What you said is 100% on point. I would even take that further. I say every man owes it to himself and his family and the world to be strong, to be able to be violent when necessary, to be able to be strong, protect himself, his family, innocent people, women, children, elderly, the weak and the innocent. So that's why it pisses me off when I see men out there who pay absolutely no attention to their fitness, to their bodies. And then it pisses me off even more when I see fathers who don't take care of themselves at all, and they allow their children, their sons, to be the same way. When I see a fat dad, I see a fat son usually, or fat kids.
Yeah.
And that bugs me, man. I don't know why it bugs me, because I think it's a disservice to those children.
Yeah.
Because think about it. If you don't teach your child how to eat properly, how to work out, how to be strong, how to be fit, and that child becomes fat, that child goes to school, kindergarten, elementary, middle school, high school. What happens in schools? Bullying. So he already put his own child in a disadvantage by making that child fat. Now that kid goes to school, now he's being picked on, he's being bullied, he's got zero confidence, right? Now, I don't know how fat you were. I used to be a skinny kid. I used to be a tweak, dude. So I've been bullied a handful of times because I was too skinny. I wasn't strong enough. So at some point I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna get as big as I can functionally, you know? And so I started training through martial arts because I got fed up with it.
Mm-hmm.
So because nobody ever taught me. And if you think about it, school doesn't teach you that. School never taught me money, finance, fitness, nutrition, mindset. Those are all the important things that we need in life. I haven't learned any one of them in school. Not
Yeah.
one. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I mean, that could be an endless cycle too. It could have been that dad's dad, et cetera, and down the line. We don't even know where that came from, right? Um, but I think because when I grew up, all right, my parents worked all the time. Uh, so a lot of times, I'd be home alone all the time. Come home from school by myself. They'd pick me up real quick, drop me off, and they'd have to go back to work, or I'd have to ride my bike home, or whatever it was. And my brother, he's 10 years older than me, so he was out of the house. He, me and him were 10 years apart. It was hard to really connect with him at
Yeah.
the time. He was
Same with me, man.
he was a teenager, and then a young adult, and I'm still this little kid, right? So I had to figure out all this stuff really by myself. My parents, they were great providers. But when it came to who I am today, I have, their drive, their hard work, kind of the stories, how they grew up. That kind of made me think and probably mold myself towards the mindset that I have today. They didn't tell me how to eat.
Yeah.
My mom made great food. That's why I was fat. Right. So, what changed me was just self drive, just life experience, right? Um, and we all have to hold ourselves accountable to that. We can't just sit back and say, "Oh, well, I wasn't taught this." Well, we aren't taught a lot of things. We have to either discover it through failure, through experience, just experience things and just say, I don't want this no more, right? Um, so I can't say it's completely the parents, but it is a start, right? They're shown a way, um, by their elders, and yeah, but that's not forever, right?
Yeah.
You can change yourself uh, if you're open minded enough and have that drive, right? We can all fall to susceptibility and being lazy. It's easy to be lazy.
Yeah.
It's easy to be lazy. It's easy to be selfish. Um,
Easy to give excuses.
absolutely.
Be a victim.
Absolutely. But we have to hold ourselves accountable. And like I said, I respect all, right? However they want to live their lives. As long as they're happy, that's all that matters, right? And I won't know if they're not happy unless, they speak up, right?
Nobody really knows what goes in the heart of man.
Absolutely. Life's ebbs and flows, ups and downs. We all go through it. I go through it. I think people for years talk about depression as something that's a negative thing. I think we all go through it,
Yeah.
right? I think we should be more open to it and understand that we all go through it. But it's we have to be aware of ourselves and find ways to get out of it, and not talking about earlier about failures and just staying there. We should never stay there, right? We should also always find a way out, always persevere and get through whatever it is that we're getting through or we're going through, right? So yeah.
That's a big factor, man. And I think that flows perfectly into the lifestyle and the relationship that you have with other people.
Yeah.
Like we talked about that too. You said, remember when I asked you about relationship and we talked about that, talk about communication, and you said something very profound. You said it starts before that. it
Yeah.
starts with work on yourself, right? You said something along those
Yeah.
lines.
Well, you asked me how's married life.
Yeah.
Um, and is it a lot of work? Um, and yeah, I said we worked that was worked on before marriage.
Yeah.
Marriage isn't the time that you start working on something. Uh, that's something you should have built long before when you started it with that person. Um, yeah,
Work on yourself.
yeah. Work on yourself. Uh, Working how to be, on how to be a good partner, how to be a good spouse, a good boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is.
Good person.
Yeah, good person. It starts with being a good person. I mean, that's why I'm with my wife. She's probably the sweetest person I know. Kindest soul. Super innocent. Um, so yeah, I'm fortunate to have her in my life.
Good man. I'm happy for you.
Yeah,
Happy
yeah,
for you. No, it's good. It's important. It's important to have the right partner too, because the person you choose to spend the rest of your life with is either gonna make you or break you.
yeah,
Like I had the privilege, sometimes
yeah,
not so fortunate experience of dating certain kinds of women, but I think every single one of them taught me something. I became better for the next one, and you finally realize like, well, what are the qualities you want in a person that you want to spend the rest of your life with? Is she gonna be the plus or the minus to you? When I met my girlfriend, my current girlfriend, when I met Nicole, I was like, listen, my life is a railroad, okay, and I'm the train, I'm the conductor, and this shit doesn't stop. At least when I met her, like mentally, I was already there. I was doing a lot of work on myself.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, you either jump on or go ahead and jump off at the next stop because I'm not stopping. Like, I will not drag anybody behind me. I told that straight up, just like that. Because she's an entrepreneur.
How'd you take it?
I remember she was very serious. And all I gotta say is it was work in progress. But I tell you what, man, she stepped up to the plate. But she stepped up to the plate when I stepped up to my own plate. I've always handled, for the most part, my life, my independency and had my shit together. But in the last, let's say, year or two since we've been together, she's contributed to my life tremendously. So not only did she jump on the train, she fucking pushed it, dude. Like
Yeah,
I'm very grateful for that. I'm thankful for her in my life, and she contributes a lot,
yeah.
and I'm happy.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I mean, I've always wanted. I mean, I've known you when you were single, so I heard about your past. So I'm happy you found someone that compliments you,
Thank you,
um,
brother.
and also inspires you, and helps you grow. I think in this world uh, we all need each other as much as I mean I myself I would consider myself very independent. So I mean, prior to meeting my wife, I was single for like 8 years. I'm just used to being independent, used to being doing my own thing, right? So it takes a lot for you to meet someone else, and consciously you know make yourself adapt, be different, learn how to be a partner, a good one, right? um, so yeah.
What do you think? What do you think makes a good partner?
um Honesty, honesty, communication's huge. That's always a work in progress,
Yeah.
right? Even for me. Understanding, open-mindedness, um, and just the overall foundation. I mean, like I said, my wife's like the kindest person I've ever met. um, she'll do anything for you, and anything, right? She'll move mountains to help you just because she's kind.
Hmm.
She might not even know you, and she'll help you. Um, and that was like the foundation that I stepped into, and that was amazing to me. Um, and that's what made me fall in love with her. I mean, I knew I was going to marry her. I think the first day we met,
Oh
as
snap!
crazy as that sounds,
Yeah,
as cliche as that sounds,
yeah.
from what I saw in that little glimpse on that one day, uh, which led to many, many other days and years later, I saw it then. Um, so yeah,
That's awesome,
but
dude.
you know, it took work from me too to learn how to be a partner, to learn, and we're both very independent still, and I think that's important. What life you did have prior to meeting each other, you shouldn't get rid of that. Um, you know, there might be some,
Adjustments.
differences, but you should still have your goals. You should still hang out with your friends. You should still have, your alone time and all that. And we established that from day one. I've never been the type to keep tabs on her. It's just not me. Um, I had full trust in her since day one, and that's just how I am with people. I don't control people. Some people try to control
No,
relationships.
that's toxic, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've had that relationship before.
Yeah.
It was toxic.
Always keeping tabs, wanting to know, what they're doing at all times of the day. It's never been me. And that was kind of an adjustment for her because she came from relationships uh, that was demanded of her. And then she started like telling me her agenda for the day when I didn't even ask. And I was like, no, 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 no. Like, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you at the end of the day. We'll have something to talk about at the end of the day. But if you tell me everything you're going to do, or everything you're currently doing, then we got nothing to talk about when we come home.
Yeah.
So,
You do dinner times?
huh?
You do dinner times with your
I
wife?
mean, our schedules are always off. No, but whenever we do have the chance to catch up, that's where we do
But
it.
I know, like you and your wife. I think, in my opinion, from what I see and I talk to you, you guys have dates often enough.
Yeah, we try.
I think that's important. I
Yeah,
try to do the same thing with Nicole, at least once a week.
yeah,
The recap date, just
that's nice.
for
Once a
ourselves.
week, that's more than me.
I mean, it some weeks doesn't work out.
Yeah,
You know my schedule.
yeah,
Work, business, this.
yeah, yeah,
Fitness. Fitness actually from the very beginning for me it was like, listen, I told her, I'm like, in my previous relationship, the girlfriend I was dating at the time had a problem with me working out so much. And it's funny, I work out now twice a day, or at least I try, which is more than I did back then. And I told her, like, this is my priority. This is how I stay grounded. This is how I mentally check myself. This is how I get the bullshit and the anger out of me, and I come back a peaceful person. She never interferes with that. She actually steps up to the plate, comes to the gym with me, But I know for a fact, and this is very important for, I think, a lot of men to know, because I learned that because I saw it with my own eyes. When you carry yourself a certain way, right? Whatever you do, wake up early, go to gym, eat clean or whatever, they follow. Women love men who are leaders. It's in their feminine energy. So I always tell it to this younger guy that I mentor, and we talk about relationship, and I tell him, hey man, you have to be a leader of yourself in your own life for your girlfriend to follow. Because like we got into an argument and this happened, and she doesn't want to go to the gym. I'm like, well, how long you been going to the gym? I'm like, well, it's like, just a month since I joined this fitness program. Or like a month. She needs to see consistent work and maybe even results. And she's going to test you to see, are you going to be consistent with your shit? It's only been a month. Give it 6 months. Give it a year. And then you'll see. She'll jump on the train. If she doesn't, oh, well, the door is over there. Sorry. Like, this train don't stop.
yeah. Well, I think that's less of whole like man woman type like thing. I think it's more of a you guys inspire each other. You inspired her. I think it's more of that. And I'm sure she's done the same for you. She's inspired you.
100%.
Um, so I would say it's more that, right? That's a part of like being partners, right? Uh, what's so great is for me is she inspires me. You know, when we first met, she's all I gotta say is she's doing better than us. so,
Yeah,
so,
I know. Yeah, we
but
talked about that.
but I mean, I was with her when she was struggling, when things were rough, things were tough. Um, you know, talk about bad times. Um, but I was there for her. I always wanted to be there for her. I wanted to do everything I could because I believed in her, right? You know, even though she was going through a hard time, I was still inspired by her. I was inspired about her by her dreams, all her goals, right? And the fact that she worked towards them uh, at all costs, no matter how hard it was. Um, so I think it's more of like you inspire each other, right? And you either do or you don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, for the good or the bad, right? So, um, yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question then. And so we're going through that process right now in the sense that she has restarted her business because she took a massive hit during COVID. So she restarted her business, and obviously she put in all her energy, finances, and dedication and hard work into that. So she's now at the stages of where your girlfriend, wife, was. She's struggling, going through tough times. Like anything you do in life, that's worth it. So me being alongside of her, what can you advise me to do to be there for her? To help her through the times where are tough for her.
I think just listening to her, she's gonna have hard days, I'm sure, as we all. We just have to kind of listen to each other, and not always do we want advice, right? We just want someone to talk to, someone to, and you are her person, right? So she wants to be able to talk to you, but she doesn't always want your advice, right?
I
Uh,
learned that later in my life.
yeah. So just support her, listen to her, support her, and then give her, bits of inspiration, things she might have not thought about, right? But kind of ask if she wants to hear it before giving it, right? Because, like I said, uh, we don't all want to give that advice, right?
Yeah.
Or we don't all want to always hear that advice. But if we make it like an open question, like, hey, I'm sorry you're going through that, or whatever it is. Um, but you know, can I, give you what I would do? What I think might work. I think that would work better than. And I learned. I'm still learning to do it right. I'm telling you this, but sometimes she's telling me things. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
what you got to do. Da da da
Well, we
da.
go into problem
But
solving mode. I mean,
absolutely.
first of all, like that's the thing we do in life
Mm-hmm.
as men, I would say. Second of
Yeah.
all, we get paid for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Third of all, it's in our nature.
Yeah.
We want to be able to help other people. And how
Yeah.
do we help other people? Like I always thought helping another person is let me either solve this problem for you or tell you how to solve it.
Yeah.
And
But
then
we don't always want to hear it.
yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I was like, hey, yeah, just shut the hell up and listen.
Yeah.
Maybe that will help.
Yeah. I mean, I get that from my mom, I would say, because every time I see her, she's always telling me what to do, telling me these things. They're good. I mean, but sometimes I don't want to hear it, right?
Mom, I'm a man. I'm a grown man.
Right?
I tell others what to do.
Right?
Yeah, but
So
it's
just there's always a right time and place to give your input, and then uh, you know, tactfully saying it, right? Um, there is a way about speaking to people. And you can talk to people and say the same things in different ways, where they could be more receptive or not, right? Are you going to scream at them, or are you going to talk to them kindly, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's my thing. That I'm learning. That I don't scream at people, but I'm very direct. You know
yeah,
how I am,
yeah. I
and
mean, I would say
I'm
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 similar.
I'm learning that being more patient when you tell something to other people and giving them maybe more than one shot at a certain thing to do may produce better results. Because I'm definitely an acquired taste, man. Like
Yeah,
I can tell you what to do, but if you do the same mistake over and over again, I get pissed.
yeah,
Like, don't come to me complaining about your problem when I told you how to fix it and you still haven't done it, and now you come to me with the same problem again. I was like, this is where I get impatient.
yeah. That's
I
why
have a problem with that.
you can't be a therapist.
No, never, dude, never.
Yeah. Now it's something, if you want to do, you gotta practice it. You gotta be aware of it. Um, Same thing. I work on it every day as well. So
1% better every day.
yeah,
No, I love it.
yeah,
Yeah, relationship I think is not relying on the other person to be happy. It's being happy already, but building something that binds their happiness together. Because you don't want to be codependent. Like I know some
yeah,
people who are
yeah,
codependent on others.
yeah,
Like how do you put your and I've done that. Here's the thing, I've done that. I have at some point in my life have dated a woman who I poured into and I placed my happiness into that person. Didn't work out so well. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm not doing that shit again.
yeah,
And never done have ever since.
yeah,
So I learned that
yeah.
the hard way. But I learned. Some people don't learn. Like you can't possibly place your happiness into another person. You know?
No, no. Um, I think that comes naturally. They'll make you happy naturally, right?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, so even like the first day I met my wife, right? Uh, she's been through a lot through her relationships.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say, she had rough times with her relationships, right? So when we first met, she was super independent, right? And she told me on our first date, like, I don't need no man, right?
Whoa.
But I took that as, I didn't take it in the wrong way. Um, but it showed me that, she's independent, right? And we both keep that independence even into our marriage. We both, have our goals, what we want to do. Um, and we choose to be with each other. We choose to support each other, and we, inspire each other. That's all a conscious decision. Life's not a fairy tale, and things don't just magically come in place. You know, both of us work on ourselves every day and work on each other every day. Um, so yeah,
So you telling me life is not all sunshine and rainbows,
it's
Eddie?
not. It's
Well,
not.
how dare you? That's what I see on social media.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to live in their shoes if that's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, we all go through our ups and downs. But as long as we persevere, keep going, keep learning, just keep supporting each other, and just giving those positive vibes out, right? Um, I think we should all try to be more positive. There's a lot in the world, a lot of negativity that can come your way, whether it be like news. There's a lot that you can complain about. There's a lot that you can be sad about. But we need to talk more about the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean be naive to what's going around the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we all need to be a little more positive. You know, share a little more love to the world and to each other as people. Respect each other more, right? Um, yeah,
You know what I realize? It doesn't take much effort to be a positive, kind person. And to me, that came from building confidence. the more confidence I build in myself, the more. So I'll keep it simple. Fitness changed my life, build more of my confidence and self-esteem, bled into all aspects of my life, would be more confident in my and competent. I have no desire sometimes to even talk shit to other people. Like not even in I've never been a person who talks shit in a negative way to put you down, but I would talk shit in a funny way. And I try to be very mindful of that, even if somebody talks smack to me. But it doesn't take much effort to be a good positive person when you're confident in yourself. Like I was working out the other day and I see this dude and he has some kind of physical disability. Like one part of his body was undeveloped, one was pretty developed, the other was undeveloped, and he was a little crippled. But he's out there at the gym. He's working out. This kid is putting in work. And I'm on like my second set of like, I forgot what I was doing, bicep curl or something, or some kind of superset. And I'm like, today's not the best day. Like, I can't hit all my max reps. I see this dude. First of all, he inspired me. I'm like, this fucking guy is here. He has all the excuses in the world not to be here, but he's here. He's working out. And I'm complaining about the fact that I can't, finish my set. I kid you not, the last two sets, I hit higher than the first two with the same weight. I was pretty happy, right? So I found him at the gym after I finished my set. And I don't know this guy, never met him before. I approached him, I told him, hey dude, like, what's your name? Told me his name. I'm like, you inspired me. Like right now, today, just want to let you know, you inspired me. Like you being here, you have all kinds of excuses, but you're here. And I respect that, and we talked for a little bit and he left, but it's just, I love seeing people who are, because it's easy to go to the gym when you're fit. But when you're fat, when you're not used to working out, when you don't have the confidence, when you don't want to go to the gym because you're not fit, right? You're clearly a little overweight. People don't do that. But when I see that person at the gym putting in work, 100% I respect that. Like that person is there, putting in work, taking action.
Yeah.
I respect the grind all day.
Yeah. And what it is you gotta do it for yourself. Right? That's how he got in there probably. He did it for himself, right?
Yeah.
We all do it for ourselves, but we do have inspirations, right? I always see people in the gym too that I'm like, wow, that's impressive. I just respect everyone, man. It's everyone's drive, everyone's ego, whatever it is.
Besides people who don't re-rack.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
That is hardest fucking exercise at the gym, man.
Yeah.
Re-racking.
Yeah. Even today.
It's like
when I went to the gym, some guy's on the bench and he leaves it. I'm like, come on, dude, just rack it.
Like, dude,
just put it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gym etiquette. Basically, if you guys don't re-rack your shit after you're done with your set at the gym, especially if you lift heavier weights, please don't be an asshole. Re-rack your fucking weights. Yeah. Gym etiquette 101.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I just don't get that.
No, dude. It's crazy. Wow. Well, listen, man. I think we tapped into a lot of good stuff today. Your background, the upbringing, the military,
yeah,
the fitness.
A little
bit. Yeah, it's the combination of all of these things, I think, is what gives me a better understanding of who you are. It's good, man. I'm pretty proud of what you've done with yourself.
Yeah, I appreciate
you're definitely
you
one
too.
of those guys who, it's an honor for me to have you here. And you came out of your comfort zone to be here. Shit. So that I appreciate.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to be out there in public eye, talking about themselves. Some people are more natural than that. But thank you, man. Thanks for coming out here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And sharing the insight about your life, about what's valuable in life. Yeah, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy or took value from anything that we talked about, please subscribe, like, click share. And if you didn't like what we're talking about, you can still click like and subscribe. That helps me tremendously because, like I said, this is the journey that I'm taking you guys on with me. This is still a work in progress. So I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys, supporting me. And just click like, subscribe. That goes a long way. Eddie, my man, thank you for being here. Thank you for the pleasure to talk to you and sharing great ideas with me. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
Later, guys.
Oof, good stuff, man.